Alright, today we're going to be making this rustic industrial style key hanger. So the way how I have my workshop set up is I have all my tools stored away, and as I'm working on a project, I just take everything out, unpack, set up, and as soon as I'm done working on the project, I just put away everything. And the reason why I do this is because in my workshop I have a limited amount of space, so I just try to do things as efficient as possible. Right here I'm just clamping a piece of wood on the workbench just to raise and support this long piece of lumber that I'm about to cut. That helps to keep the material level on the miter saw as I cut it. Even though the miter saw has a laser on it, I still like to draw my line with a square just to make sure I'm cutting it straight. I checked the material to make sure that I was making the best part face the front. I measure and mark the distance between where I want to drill each hole. I punch a tiny hole at the cross mark so that it's easy for me to align the Forstner bit as I'm drilling. I measured the drill bit to make sure that it was the right size so that when I put the bolt in the hole, it's a snug fit. This push and pull technique that I'm doing, it helps the drill bit to spit out the material as I'm drilling. When I was drilling the first hole, I forgot to do this push and pull technique and the drill bit got stuck inside the hole. On the back side of the material, you can see I have a minor tear out, but I don't mind because I'm going to be drilling a wider hole anyways. Usually when I'm drilling stuff like this, if I don't want to tear out, I would put another piece of wood right below it, and that would just reduce the chance of a tear out. But in this case, as I said, I'm going to be drilling a bigger hole anyways. I measured the width of the Forstner bit and I transferred the measurement to the wood. Transferring the measurement to the wood, it helps me to keep the Forstner bit aligned as I start to drill. I found out how deep I need to drill the hole, and I just made sure the bolt fit through the hole and the nut is able to fit on the back. So now I know how deep to drill the holes, so I just transfer that to the other 3 holes. So I'm just clamping a piece of wood on the workbench so that when I'm working on the key holder, it stays in place. As you can see, all 4 corners of this material is rounded, but I wanted the back part of this to be flat. So I'm just going to pass over it a few times with the planer. I'm putting down these 2 microfiber cloths on the workbench. This helps to create a cushion as I sand. The orbit sander that I'm using, it creates a lot of vibration, and that could scratch the material on the other side as I sand. And right now I'm just doing the alignment and measurement of the keyhole hanger. I drew the outline of the keyhole hanger, then measured a bit to make sure I was using the appropriate size. I cleared away the excess material with my chisel, then checked to make sure that it's a snug fit. I drill a deeper hole in the middle so that when I'm hanging this thing on the wall, the nail or screw has some place to go. I passed over the edge a few times with a planer just to make sure it's nice and flat before I bevel the edge with the router. I do not have a router table at the moment, so that's why I'm using this clamp to workbench method. I use a sander to remove the roughness and the pencil marks from the material, and then finally I hand sand the edges. I sprayed a couple layers of black paint on the nuts and the bolts. I applied 1 coat of Jacobin stain. I started staining from the back because that's the side that I'm least concerned about. Once I flipped it over, I don't have to worry about moving it again. I allowed the stain to dry overnight, and the following day, I just applied 1 coat of Danish oil. Once the Danish oil was dry, I pre-drilled the holes for the keyhole hanger. Once all the screws were installed, I continued to the final step, which is to install the bolts for the key hangers. Alright guys, that's it for this one. If you like this video, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.